Hello and welcome to this Britannica Library tutorial video where we're going to look at how easy it is to access all different types of information from your Britannica Library platform. So we're on the landing page of the Britannica Library resource, and you can see at the bottom we have our 3 levels of learning. Junior relates to 5 to 11-year-olds. Student is 11 to 16. And our adult section is 16 plus. Now I'm going to dive straight into a search, and I'm going to use the student section as an example, but the process is exactly the same on all 3 levels. Clicking on the magnifying glass here, I then have a search box in which I can type the subject that I'm interested in researching. Now, I've chosen solar systems for this demonstration, but in this box here, you can put any subject in the world and then click your magnifying glass here to go through to the search results page. We can now see that at level 2, we have nearly 3,000 article results just here on that left-hand side. So as we scroll down, we can choose from one of these amazing pieces of information that have been collated and put together by our global team of experts. The reading levels are interchangeable, so I can choose to drop down to reading level 1 or go up to reading level 3 at any stage. I also have on the right-hand side an advanced search option here. This gives me 5 filters to narrow down to a subtopic in my original search, and is very useful. So along the left-hand side here is where we're going to find all the different types of information for our chosen subjects. You'll see that the next tab along is our Images tab, and you will be able to access amazing rights-cleared images for every topic. So if I click onto one of these images here, at the bottom I have a sharing options box. Once I click on my sharing options, I reveal the toolbar on the right-hand side. I can now share this image or any of the information in Britannica. If you haven't got Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams switched on in your permissions, pop us an email and we can very quickly pop that on for you. Next to my share button, I have a bookmark favorite star. Now this relates to the top right-hand side. We've got a selection of lines here. If I click onto that and then head over to the left-hand side here, I've got my individual bookmark area. Now, I don't need to create a bookmark area to view all the millions of pieces of information, but it's a very useful place to collate information and then put into topic packs, which we call resource packs, put my notes on and share. So very briefly, in order to create an account for my personal bookmark, I click onto the sign in to personal account. And then my next step would be to click on create an account. I then need to choose my own choice of username and password, because this is going to be a section that's for my eyes only, unless I choose to share with anybody else. Once I've chosen a username and password and then retyped my password, I simply click on Create Account. I'm just going to show you what that looks like when I sign into my bookmark area with the username and password that I chose previously. Sign in. Now it means when I click on the star on that toolbar here, I'm going to be able to save this image or any other of the information. And if I go to those lines on the right-hand side again, head over to the bookmark area here, click on Favourites, you'll see there is the image that I've starred. Heading back to our search results page, we are able to also access, so I've just used that arrow on the left-hand side to get back to my search results page. We're also able to access, along that left-hand side, educational videos. Again, we can use them for any purpose in our library. And also, when I select any of those videos, I'm going to be able to use the sharing options box at the bottom to reveal my toolbar. There's my citation. The citation tool is on every piece of information except the EBSCO journals, because that's a live changing feed into the platform. Once I've chosen the correct style of citation, I can then use the important part here for any bibliography information. Heading back to our search results page, again, I like to use that arrow on the left-hand side. Next to our video tab on this left-hand side, we also have a More button. It's under this More button that we're able to find EBSCO journals, world's best sites, primary sources and ebooks for any subject. If I click onto the magazines and journals, you'll see on the right-hand side the EBSCO logo. We have a special partnership with EBSCO, which means that we stream 80,000 full content EBSCO journals into Britannica Library for every subject. Now, at level 2 and level 3, we have amazing academic content scientific papers in this EBSCO category. But something that I find very interesting is if I go down to level 2 or level 1, and I'm in the EBSCO journal section here, I'm able to access some really interesting and interactive journals for that younger age group. Now, for example, Express to Saturn, if I choose the PDF version, so I'm looking for the version with all the graphics and the pictures. Here's an example of one of those EBSCO journals at reading level 1. And you can see how engaging that would be for a young learner. It's almost like an educational comic to learn about a chosen subject. On the right-hand side, I can very easily download this journal or choose to print this out. So, if you do get any young learners coming into the library asking your advice, it's always a good idea to check out those magazines and journals for that particular age group. Back to reading level 1 and, sorry, reading level 2. And our next category on the left-hand side under this very inconspicuous More button would be our world's best sites, which is actually one of my favourite parts of Britannica. So our global team of experts have cleared external websites for every subject. And you can see for my chosen subject, I've got some really interesting NASA websites that I can go into. So that's always worth pointing out to your users. Finally, under that More button, we have the section Primary Sources and Ebooks. Now, to demonstrate this section, I'm going to head to the right-hand side and click on the search icon. And I'm going to pop a different topic in. I'm going to put human rights and press my magnifying glass icon. Here's our search results page. Here's our article selection on the left-hand side. We can choose images, videos. Under the More button, we're able to access EBSCO journals, world's best sites, but I might be looking for a primary source or an ebook, so I'm going to select this section here. Anything that starts with a document is a original primary source document, and you can see that here I have the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which would be very interesting for my research or projects, written in 1948. So under this section, you're able to find all those important primary source documents from history, the declarations and the speeches. Heading back with my arrow, just underneath this primary source document is a good example of a non-fiction ebook about the personal memories of the struggle for human rights. So you also have thousands of ebooks, fiction and non-fiction, in this category. Just to elaborate on those ebooks a little bit further, heading up to my search results page, I'm going to pop a famous author in, and my favourite is Shakespeare. Here's my search results page. Here on the left-hand side is how I can choose from the different types of information. I'm looking for William Shakespeare's plays as an ebook. So I'm clicking on the More button and going down to my primary sources and ebooks section. I can now access every single play that William Shakespeare has ever written. And if I click on the Tempest here, you'll see as I go down, we have the very famous Act 1 here. It's always going to be the complete ebook or EBSCO journal. And on the right-hand side, there's my share button. Once I've shared any of the information, I can then also download. And then here's my favorite star. And because that's filled in, that's already in my bookmark section. Heading back to the search results page by using that arrow on the left-hand side, I'm just going to quickly pop into one of the article informations here. So I'm moving my mouse along the top left-hand side and clicking on the famous Britannica articles. Now I've got 425 to choose from at level 2, but I'm just going to pop into this first one here because I just want to show you the learning tools that are going to really help your library users. So for any of the articles that you access, we have put in some learning tools. On the left-hand side, we have a table of contents. So we can go directly to a particular part in this article. We have a double-click dictionary. So for any word that I'm struggling with, I can hover over that word, and I'm going to choose adaptations here. Right double click, and I've got the Merriam-Webster definition of that word. I've also got the full definition here, and I've also got my microphone so I can hear phonetically how that word is spoken. Adaptation. I'm also going to see hyperlink words, and this is what makes Britannica such an amazing place for people to build up their research skills of all ages. I'm prompted to go through to connected information in order to extend my research. And don't forget, all of this information has been checked and verified by our global team of experts. We are still doing the same editorial process that we started 250 years ago of checking and verifying all of this information in the platform. Here's my toolbar on the right-hand side. I have my arrow. That's my share button. I have my favorite bookmark star, so I can simply click on this article, and that's been added to my bookmark area that I created with my own username and password. Here's my print icon, so everything in Britannica is printable. Here's my citation with the 4 different styles to choose from. Very, very important for anyone doing serious research where they need to fill in their bibliography. Just next to that citation tool is a very useful translate tool. So here, for any of your users where English is their second language, by clicking on that world icon, I can then choose on the left-hand side one of 90 different languages to translate this information into. So I'm going to choose Polish. The great thing about this translation is as I hover over the translated information, I'm going to be able to see the English equivalent, which means I can build up my English skills and vocabulary while I'm understanding in perhaps my first language. To go back to the original, to the English translation, I need to head to the top left-hand side here and simply click on this box which says Show Original. And I'm back to my English translation. Just to note as well, for the EBSCO journals, if you go into the textual journal, not the PDF journal, you are able to use that translate tool on those EBSCO journals as well. Our final two tools, we have a very useful text to speech. So I'm just going to pop that on for you so you can see how that presents itself.
Introduction. 1564 to 1616. More than 400 years after they were written, the plays and poems of William Shakespeare are still widely performed, read, and studied not only in his native England, but also all around the world.
Now,
Works have been translated. Introduction.
Now the audio is highlighted in yellow. That specific colour and shade of yellow has been proven to help anybody with any learning difficulties. And then finally, we have our font customization. So here I can choose to actually increase the font size, which again is going to help me if I have dyslexia or if I'm struggling at all. Heading back to the landing page is very easy. All I need to do is click onto our famous 250-year logo. We have the Scottish thistle there because we originated in Scotland 250 years ago. That's how I can get back to my landing page at any point. So thank you very much for listening to this short tutorial. We're always available to supply any further information, support or help. You've only got to pop us an email, and it's been a pleasure to provide this information for you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.